I came up with driven addiction for a couple reasons. I had a list, a whole notepad of names, and I kept tossing around. I want something different. I didn't want something basic with just auto or custom in the name or automotive. I like driven for two reasons. Obviously, driven being cars, and then driven as I'm highly motivated to do this. An addiction just because it's not a hobby. I don't just play around on the side. This is my life ever since I was 14, 15 years old. All I do is cars, work on cars, car shows, hang out with friends, do the cars. We go to cruise-ins. It's an addiction. I guess we'll rewind back to when I was about 16 years old. I took a couple of courses at a community college, learned the basic auto body, worked in a body shop for about 2 years, graduated high school at 18, felt like I was up for a change, moved 750 miles to South Carolina, found a tech school that had a street rod, hot rod program specializing in metal work, body work, chop tops, suspension. Sounded like a good idea. Started the course about 3 months in. The instructor, which was Don Jacks of Street Metal Fab, definitely the most influential person that has taught me stuff, showed me the ropes, running the business and all, was Don Jacks. I got to firsthand see how a hot rod shop's ran. I got it out of my mind. I thought you had to have the 30,000 square foot shop with the showroom, the road frontage to build the nice stuff. And I've been in those shops too and have been disappointed in their quality. We were always a small shop that could compete with the big guys. It was harder, but we pulled it off. We put a lot of stuff in magazines and loved that experience. As an employee, and I learned pretty much everything under him. We worked on a lot of cool builds, put a lot of stuff in magazines, street trucks, street rodder, all sorts of big name magazines, trucking. Did a 62 bubble top, probably one of my favorite cars, 598, dark, big block, big profiler, aluminum heads, custom chassis, coilovers, Tremec manual transmission, just a real hot rod. Paul Atkins interior. We also did a 67 Ford Galaxy that got featured in Street Rodder, was on the t-shirts for Charlotte Good Guys one year, on the displays, the advertisements and all of that. The other one of my favorites was 54 Chevrolet 3100 502 big block, super slick, fat man's chassis, Corvette suspension, front and rear, handmade sheet metal bed, handmade sheet metal inner fenders, engine cover, red leather interior again by Paul Atkins. Just a real cool hot rod. I worked under Don for about 10 years, learned so much stuff, and then decided to branch out on my own, and that's when Driven Addiction was born. I guess the other person that really helped me on the mechanical side is my brother Brian at Baird Automotive. He's always done the mechanical side of it, so I learned a lot from him. He is also self-employed, doing a lot of motor swaps, LS swaps, Coyote swaps. He's really taking it to the next level. He does all the suspension work, and we will collaborate on some builds. We got a Lincoln Continental in the works that I did a little sheet metal work underneath the hood, two-piece drive shaft and all that. He's doing all the wiring, installing the motor, heat, AC, extensive wiring work. It's air ride, 22-inch wheels, I believe. They're production wheels now, but it's a remake of the factory wheel, but in a 22. And it's getting full interior Coyote 5.0 swap, which people are really starting to get into now. I handmade the sheet metal firewall underneath the hood, bead rolls and stuff. Going to be a real killer car when it's finished up, probably next 6 months or so. This car next to me is a 1941 Chevrolet Business Coupe. It was a full build by myself. It's got Mustang 2 front suspension, small block Chevrolet, FI Tech. Just came back from the upholstery shop. I've got a little bit left to do to finish it up. The paint is Sickens base clear. Had all the chrome redone, stainless polished. Just a nice cruiser, overdrive trans, power steering, power windows, power locks, cruise. Just a nice Sunday driver. One of my personal builds since I've been on my own was a 1952 Chevrolet 3100. I don't want to call it a rat rod because it was a full frame off, slicked and painted chassis, suspension, axle. It had a Vortec 5.7 fuel injected motor, 4L60 trans, vintage air, heat and AC, cruise control, all finished interior, sound mat, new glass, weather stripping. Had the patina look on the outside, but was a full-on, almost hot rod. Daily drove it for about a year and a half. Took about a year and a half to put it together. Kind of did it old farm truck style with all-terrain tires, 15-inch wheels, kind of a stake bed, rusted stake bed style. And another one of my favorite builds, probably since I've been on my own, was a M715 old military truck. We custom made a sheet metal top for it, chopped the top 3 inches, hand made a visor into it. It's powered by a 5.3 LS motor, stacked aluminum T-case, 1-ton axles, 40-inch MTR wheels on 17-inch bead locks. A real mean off-road rig, but still streetable. I like to build all types, whether they're street rods, hot rods, off-road, just real clean, streetable driving vehicles. And I try to do everything from full builds to metal work, body work, a lot of custom sheet metal work. Specialize in air ride suspension, everything outside of, I have a paint guy until my new shop goes up, which will have in-house paint and full rotisserie restoration jobs. I like the old stuff that's four-wheel drive. I like everything I build to be a driver. If it's a truck, if they want to pull trailers, I like to be able to have a hitch, brake controller. Usability is my number one. Then I want it to look cool, obviously. I've seen so many that weren't drivable. I personally want to drive them, and the people coming to me want to drive them. I'm not building trailer queens here. And I kind of pride myself on that, I guess. My personal car is a 1964 Oldsmobile Cutlass. Pretty much Dad's car, but I kind of took it over. He left it original for probably 15 or so years, 15 to 18 years, which I'm not big on original. So I took it over, put airlift, air ride management on it, all Slam specialty bags. Recently pulled the motor, had my brother Brian rebuild the original 330, did a 204R overdrive transmission, just put in vintage air, heat AC, removed all the interior, put in sound mat just to make it a little better driver. It's on Boss 338 20-inch wheels. Nothing radical, old paint, respectable interior, just a nice driver. We hop in it and we'll go 300-400 miles, go to shows, hang out, we'll cruise it, bring it back, throw it in the garage till next time. It's just a real fun car. It's unique. You don't see a lot of them. It's not your common 69 Camaro, 72 Chevelle. It's just something different. Future plans are a new building. I've really outgrown the shop I'm in. It's going to have its own paint booth, 2-post lift, so I can get into easier to do the frame off rotisserie style restorations or custom jobs. A lot more square footage, storage, Maybe even lead into plasma table, maybe even get into a little CNC work. There's just unlimited possibilities, limited plans. More in the metalwork side, English wheels, planishing hammer, go that route. I really enjoy the sheet metal work side of it.